The net, cyberspace, the information superhighway. There are a lot of terrible names for this terrible place. My name's American Johnson. Welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide. You probably have
a lot of questions about the World Wide Web. What is it? Where did it come from? Who invented it, and how does it work? In this video, I'm not going to answer any of those questions. Instead, I'm going to talk about how leftists should be using the internet, because this is NonCompete. Non-compete. It's becoming increasingly obvious that the internet has become a complex, multi-dimensional battlefield for a wide variety of powerful actors. Superpowers like Russia are fielding propaganda campaigns to influence elections, and of course Nazis and the alt-right have developed sophisticated troll farms to recruit young men to the far right and to target and harass leftists, feminists, and other anti-fascists. Then we have the corporations. Powerful international conglomerates have always controlled the media, but social media gives big companies even more invasive, subtle, and sinister leverage over our society. Tech giants like Google and Facebook wield complete control over the algorithms that determine what we see and what we don't see on the internet. These companies run experiments on us and use the data they collect to manipulate and control us in ways that we are just beginning to understand. Of course, it's not all bad. Major social progress has been made through the internet. Activists and marginalized people around the world are using the internet to raise awareness, organize, and seek liberation. So it's clear that the internet is not just a place for cat videos and dog memes. Doggy memes? It's an ideological war zone, and the outcomes of this cyber warfare have tremendous real-world consequences. So listen up, cyber warriors of the left. Here are 5 things every leftist needs to remember when going online. Number 1, be cautious. Always remember that the internet is a hostile environment for leftists. In addition to the usual threats of hackers, identity thieves, and Jimmy Fallon videos that everyone else has to deal with, leftists must also face direct confrontation and harassment from alt-right trolls. If you're an open and active leftist, it pays to be paranoid. Protect your identity and keep your personal details and exposure to a minimum. Alt-right trolls have been known to deploy some really sleazy tactics against their targets. This kind of online harassment has led to injury and death in real life, so you really can't be too cautious. In the future, I plan to make more videos about online self-defense, but in the meantime, you can check the description of this video for a couple of links that'll walk you through protecting yourself and your identity. Number 2, be aware. As leftists, we need to be media and propaganda literate. Most people click on links and share articles without much thought. In fact, a recent study by Columbia University and the French National Institute showed that 59% of internet users share articles without even reading them. In this kind of environment, it's no wonder that fake news and false narratives have been able to wreak so much havoc on society. As leftists, we must be more responsible and aware when it comes to consuming and sharing information. Media literacy is crucial for modern-day leftists. We need to understand that powerful entities are spending billions of dollars to control and manipulate our minds and our behavior online. Advertisers are harvesting your personal information and relentlessly nudging and manipulating you to buy more stuff. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. I'm a professional after all. I do digital marketing for a living. I know just how easy it is to coerce and manipulate you into spending money on things you don't really need through precision customer profiling and targeting. And it's not just aggressive capitalist consumerism you need to be aware of. Fake news and propaganda mills are also focusing in on you with laser precision, trying to monopolize your newsfeed and occupy your mind. Every time you see a headline or read an article, you need to stop for a moment and ask yourself the following questions. Who made this content? Why did they make it? Why are they showing it to me? The vast majority of content that's being generated and circulated every day has an agenda. As leftists, we need to be hyper-aware of the agenda and the source of every piece of information that we consume and share online. So be vigilant, be skeptical, and be aware. Number 3, be intentional. The web's a great place to kick back and relax, but when it comes to political activism, we need to be mindful of what we're doing and why we're doing it every time we pull out our phones and our computers. One of the reasons alt-right trolls have been so effective online is that they're organized and deliberate about their online activity. They coordinate, make plans, and carry them out with discipline and intentionality, which is often lacking on the left. It's easy to fall into the habit of being overly emotional and reactive when it comes to political activity online. We'll scroll through our news feeds until we see a post that makes us angry, and then we'll fire off some comments or get dragged into a flame war that's ultimately meaningless and unproductive. Indeed, embroiling enemies into time-wasting and useless arguments is a tried and true sabotage method that's been in use at least since World War II. So, before you get dragged into time-consuming and ineffective political wheel spinning, take a breath and think about how you can maximize your time and your energy. Maybe instead of hammering out a multi-paragraph angry comment that only a handful of people will ever even see, you can turn those thoughts and feelings into a social media post or a blog article that'll engage a wider audience and have more staying power. Number 4, be engaged. Remember that you're never truly alone online. Social media is a fantastic place to radicalize and recruit new leftists, and it's also one of the best places to build and organize our movement. As leftists, we should always be looking for opportunities to engage with other people. If you haven't already found a leftist home on the internet, I suggest you start looking for one right away. Lurk around in some Facebook and Reddit groups until you find a group of people you really connect with, then start looking for opportunities to educate liberals and centrists online. Oh, and I know a lot of you are a little squeamish and afraid about what might happen if your parents or your boss or whatever see you posting leftist stuff online. If you are in a vulnerable position, consider going incognito. It's not too hard to be anonymous online, and a lot of alt-right propagandists do just that. Just be really careful about covering your tracks and keeping your real ID on the down low, and you should be fine. And remember, we've got your back. You'll always have thousands of your fellow leftists ready to support you if something goes wrong. Number 5, take control. When you use corporate websites like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, you have to remember that you're operating in enemy territory. Their algorithms and ad platforms are constantly grinding away beneath the surface, manipulating your activity and using you to further their own ends. Take, for example, YouTube. Google is very purposeful about limiting the number of free exposure anyone can have on YouTube and the kinds of videos they want people to see. They want content creators to pay for ads, so they make it virtually impossible for any given video or post to be seen by 100% of the channel's subscribers. The same goes for Facebook pages, where only about 6% of the page's fans will typically see any given post without advertising. These platforms also tend to clamp down on controversial subject matter, and that definitely includes leftist political content. The reason all of this is important is that you literally have to go out of your way and fight the system to support leftist content creators and share leftist ideas. The leftist movement needs your help to flourish online. We should all be very active about how we find, share, and interact with information. Try not to browse the web on autopilot. If you're just relying on the automatically generated news feeds on sites like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, you're just not going to see a lot of leftist content. I personally use browser plugins to give myself more control over my social media activity. For Facebook, I use a Chrome plugin called Social Fixer that lets me literally turn off the automatically generated Facebook newsfeed whenever I want. That way I have more control about the sources of information I access. I can go to leftist groups or news sites I trust instead of being served up and spoon-fed a bunch of dubious drivel by the Facebook algorithm. You can use similar plugins for YouTube, Twitter, and any other corporate website. I'll put some more links in the description. Of course, the very best way to take control of your social media experience is to go off the corporate grid. I've been trying to push Mastodon as an alternative social media platform for leftists because it's not owned or operated by a corporation and you have a lot of control over the experience you have. If you're anything like me, you'll find that once you take back control of your internet experience, you'll have a lot more free time and a lot less anxiety about going online, and a more fulfilling experience overall. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips for being a better leftist online. Was there anything I missed? What do you think is important to remember when suiting up for cyberspace? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can see more great digital video content like this on my youtube.com web channel. And if you want to engage with more exciting digital entertainment and information content like this, you can go to my virtual home on the internet at www.non-compete.com. There you'll find blog articles and all kinds of great ways to engage and interact with me on online internet, cyber, virtual, social media, like Facebook.com and Twitter and Mastodon. That's all for now. I'm E-American Johnson. Cyber thanks for cyber watching.
Today, technology provides advertisers with a vast array of sensational visuals with which to manipulate consumers' desires.